Hola mi gente, I'm content creator Quisquillon and this is All the Juice, the podcast where I'm gonna be interviewing content creators and influencers, learning their lives, their stories, challenges, and their juicy secrets. Today at All the Juice we have a multi-talented artist who's been passionate about music all his life. From a very young age he has participated in TV singing programs like X Factor Finland and The Voice Kids Finland. On top of singing, he's passionate about learning languages. That led him to film videos of languages that gather over 21 million views on TikTok. He is no other than Victorio Angelov.
Hi,
Thank
Laura.
you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited. I know that you had been planning this for a while, and I'm so proud of you for actually doing this. I'm so proud of us sitting here and doing this, and I'm really excited to have an honest talk.
Yeah, me too, and I'm so happy. Like I remember the last year autumn, I explained you like, oh, I want to start this project of doing this podcast.
Yeah.
And then I've been so terrified of actually doing it, and
I
it's
know.
oh my god, it takes so much time. But I'm very happy that we are here and we are doing it.
So am I.
And what are we drinking today?
So what we're drinking today here is orange juice. It's from fresh oranges, so it's like freshly squeezed, and it's my favorite juice. Like I really enjoy making this for myself in the morning. Then I would add like a lemon or a grapefruit to the oranges, so it's like it's very good.
Okay, it gives like this citric kind of like flavor, right? Well,
Yeah. Should we
unfortunately,
give the people some ASMR? I hate ASMR, but some people love it. So there we go.
It's always good. It's always good to get that. So I'm very, 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 very happy that you're here. As I said, I'm very grateful for this, and I'm so excited to learn more about you. Like as I said in the introduction, you've been singing forever.
Yeah.
But like, how did you actually start singing?
I was 6 when my mom pretty much dragged me to my first singing lesson. Like I had no idea like where were we going or what were we gonna do whatsoever. So we just ended up in this like singing studio, and there was like my first vocal coach. She gave me a mic, and then she was like, "Can you sing something for me?" And then I remember I sang a Bulgarian folklore song that we had just learned in kindergarten.
Okay.
So that was like the only thing I knew how to sing properly because we had just learned it. So I sang that, and then she turned to my mom, and then she was like, "Yeah, he has it. Like he could learn how to sing easily." And this is how I started taking singing lessons. This was like my first time, and then shortly after that I was on stage for the first time. It was terrible, so
I can imagine.
out of tune, and like I was stepping out of rhythm all the time, but I loved it so much. It was like such a cool moment. Like I was on stage, there were like a few hundred people in the crowd, and it was like a singing competition, and I was singing a song about an old captain. So I was wearing like captain clothes. I had like
That's so cute.
white trousers, like blue and white navy t-shirt, and like a captain hat, and I was just like marching and singing the song, and I was having the best time of my life. And I think that back then I don't think I enjoyed music this much. I really enjoyed being on stage, and later on I grew up and I became wiser, and then like I really fell in love with music. But like being on stage was actually my first passion and love in a way.
That's so cool. So basically, being on stage, it made you realize how much you love all of that, right?
That I'm a complete attention whore. Yes.
Well,
So yeah, this this is how it happened.
it definitely suits you then.
Yes.
So, your mother took you to those singing classes, but like, was that because you were singing at home, and then she thought like, oh yeah, he has a
No.
thing, or
Actually, my first vocal coach used to be our neighbor, and she knew that my mom had kids, and they met in a secondhand shop somewhere in town. And then my vocal coach like approached my mom, and she was like, "Hey, but you do have those little kids. Like, when are you gonna bring them to me?" And my mom was like, "Yeah, I don't know," because my mom had been singing in a choir like all her like childhood, and so she was like, she didn't want to look stupid in people's eyes, if like she is this person who knows how to sing, but then
Yeah.
she brings her kids somewhere and be like, my kids can sing, but turns out they can't.
Okay.
So she was like, yeah, I'm not gonna push my kids anywhere. Like if they find their way like to music, they're gonna do it, but I'm not gonna be the one like pushing them to go there.
Yeah.
So the vocal coach just was like, bring him. And my mom was like, yeah, I'm not promising anything. Like I can bring him to you, but I don't promise anything. And then I just like went there, and then it happened, and that's how.
That's so cool. So it's a family thing. Like your mom, does she still sing?
No, she does. She hasn't.
Why?
Life, I guess. And you know, she had to provide for the family. She's a single parent. She had to put food on the table. She kind of like gave up on her dream of being an artist, of being on stage, and she smokes a lot of cigarettes, so she kind of like lost her voice.
Don't smoke, kids.
Yeah, I'm on my path of quitting some year soon. What was the question? Does she still sing? Yeah. So like she doesn't sing anymore. I think she just like kind of like projected her dreams into her kids, which can go terribly wrong. Like we've seen this. We've seen like people,
Yeah.
parents going like, oh, you should do this because I want it to be this.
Yeah.
In our case, it just turned out to be very good because I loved every second of it. So my mom now is living her dream through me in a way.
Yeah, I had the same with piano. My parents, like, I don't know which one of them wanted to play piano when they were kids, but like they
Someone
put me,
wanted,
someone
apparently.
definitely wanted, because when I was 4 years old, they put me in piano classes.
Yeah.
And I've been playing piano for 15 years, but like in professional music school and everything on the evenings after normal school.
Yeah.
But I was so done with it, and they just kind of pushed me to finish it, you know,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you're in the professional, it's 6 years, finish it. And I was like, yeah, but I'm just starting the first year, what do you mean, right? So the
Yeah.
problem with that is that nowadays I just cannot play. I'm just,
Is it like
Oh,
is
no.
it like a trauma that you have that doesn't like it?
it doesn't get to the trauma level, not definitely, but I just don't feel interested, you know, like I feel like it could have been something very good for myself, like painting. I've also been painting all my life, and still nowadays I do it sometimes. But piano was just like, the teacher was terrible too, so
Yeah.
I was just like, oh no, that's not my thing,
Not
you know?
yours, yeah.
But I'm glad in your case
It worked out very,
out.
very well. Yes.
So that's really, really good.
Yeah.
So how old were you? 6 years old when
6
you
years
started?
old. So I'm 23 now. So quick maths. Does this make 16 years? I have no idea. I'm so bad with this. See, this is why
Yeah,
I'm singing.
16, something like that.
Yeah, but
around.
pretty much my whole life. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of time. Okay, so you started to sing in Bulgaria,
Yeah.
right? But you moved to Finland when you were 13 years old.
Right.
And during that time, were you doing like stage performance, or what was the main point? Like, did you start going to singing classes or
When I moved to Finland.
before moving to Finland?
So yeah, I would go to the singing classes all the time, like all these years, and I would just like attend different competitions that they had nothing to do with TV. They were just like, you know, the singing competitions, and you go there, you sing a couple of songs, you get like first, second, third prize, or you don't get anything, and they're just like in different towns. So there's like this competition season that we're doing, and then every now and then like some concerts. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think I considered music as a career choice before I moved to Finland.
Okay.
It was more of a hobby. Like I really enjoyed doing it, but then again, I felt like this is not serious. Like I couldn't be possibly doing this for a living. And you know, there's this saying, at least in Bulgaria, maybe in other countries too, that like a musician can feed a house. So like if you're doing music, you can like provide enough and stuff like this. So it was only after I moved to Finland and then did the first TV show when I was like, oh shit, like I really love this. I really want to be doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah. What was the first TV show that you did?
The first TV show was actually called Kids Sing.
Okay.
It was a complete accident getting in there. So I moved to Finland. I started searching for singing and acting classes because we were also doing acting with my sister back then in Bulgaria. And so the vocal coach that I find, she is Russian. And, you know, we were able to communicate in English a bit because, I mean, my English was not that strong because I was 13. Her English, you know, was a bit like this, you know, very, you know, as you would assume. And so it was not enough for us to communicate. We tried communicating in the so-called language of music, which was also like bullshit. Like I was like, I need to understand what is this woman saying to me right now.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just started learning Russian from her in a way. Like she would speak in Russian to me all the time, and I would just like memorize the phrases, understand them. Then I found Russian speaking friends at school. I started speaking Russian through them because, you know, Bulgarian and Russian are related languages. So it was like easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, bottom line was that I didn't speak any Finnish. So she just told me there is a singing competition in Helsinki for 2 days. Do you want us to go? I was living in Turku back then, and I was like, sure, let's go. Like, it sounds fun. It sounds like familiar, like the 2-day competitions in Bulgaria. Let's go. So we go there. And then it was in Linnanmäki, the competition, which later on turned out to be an audition for the TV show. So we just like walk in, and then we see like this huge like TV crew around us. There are like cameras everywhere, like production. It's very busy. And then we're like, this doesn't seem like a normal singing competition.
Definitely
like,
not.
What is going on? And then as we were already there, we realized, or like we were told, because we asked like, what are the cameras here for? And people looked at us like, don't you know you're in a singing competition, like on TV?
Wow.
And then we were like, no, we didn't know, but okay, let's just go with that. So
did your teacher know, or did
no, she
didn't
no,
know
because she didn't speak any Finnish at the time. So
okay.
she just like saw these 2 dates in Helsinki, and she thought that this was the whole competition, but it was just like the audition day. So like by a complete accident, we just like stormed in a singing TV competition, and we were like, well, we're here already, so let's get famous or something. Like let's do the TV show then. And at the time, I had lived in Finland for only 6 months.
Okay.
So 6 months in Finland, and then I'm suddenly on TV, and then there is like this huge TV show, and then I make it through the auditions. I go to the live shows. There is like 1,500 people in the hall watching, and then the whole Finland is watching, and I'm just like there. Moi minä olla Victorio, just like so wrong, but it was cute.
That's so cute.
So this is like the first TV show that I actually did, and then after that we had The Voice Kids, and then years later The X Factor.
Okay, so how did you got into the Voice Kids?
The Voice Kids, it was I saw a commercial on TV, and I was like, oh, that's cool, let's do that. I've done one singing show, so let's do another one. I really loved my experience at The Voice Kids. It was very beautiful. It was familiar to me because it was already an established TV show around the globe, so I knew like what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And you know, TV is TV, and when you're making singing competitions, when you're making competitions on TV, when you're making reality, it's not as much about the talent, it's more about
the presence,
and it's more about we're doing show here, and we're making kind of like money out of this. In my experience, The Voice was everything else but that, because it was a kids version, so everyone was really cautious with us kids. We had psychologists on set.
Oh, wow.
We had people taking care that we were doing okay throughout the, you know, you're singing in front of the whole nation. There's a lot of cameras. There are 3,000 people watching you live, so it's a lot of pressure. And also being able to perform with a live band, which is one of, you know, Finland's best musicians you can get out there.
Definitely.
And it was a very beautiful experience, and yeah.
That's so nice. Did you speak any Finnish already?
Yeah, more. I spoke. Yeah, I was there for 1 year actually, and it was funny because the girl who actually ended up winning the competition, Molly, she's one of my best friends right now. She is suomenruotsalainen, which is a Finnish-Swedish person, and she had been living in Finland pretty much her whole life, but she didn't speak Finnish. So I was actually the one translating for her when they
No.
And then, you know, I remember at the final, like they asked her in Finnish, like, what was the best night? What was the best experience of this night? Or what was your favorite part of your performance? And then she was just like, and then I would just go and like, you know, tell her quietly in her ear, like, oh, this is the translation. This means that. and it was like that. So yeah, I did speak some Finnish. But of course, it was still not enough. So sometimes like the jury would give me feedback, and I would just like smile because I knew that I was being filmed, but I didn't understand shit. And I was like, I hope they're like telling me nice things. I hope they're telling me nice things because I don't understand shit. And if they're telling me that I did bad and I'm just like stupidly smiling right there, like this would be very embarrassing. But it went well.
But it's so impressive because you haven't been even a year in Finland and you already were able to understand so much on top of learning Russian at the same time.
Yeah.
What the heck?
I don't know. There are some theories and some research is done that musicians learn languages
Faster?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's true, because I don't know. It's just it's always been like much easier for me compared to other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I fully understand because I have kind of the same. Maybe it's related to the music.
Yeah. See, you did that for 6 years. There you have it.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay, that's
So
very
how's it going
impressive.
with Finnish?
I am actually studying. Like
Are you?
nowadays, I'm being very, very, very like. I have my planning, so every week I do at least 3 sessions of minimum 45 minutes. So like.
Is it online or do you go to?
I just have my book, so I just sit by myself and do the whole book because I've been in the basic levels already. So I am able to understand all the grammar and vocabulary by myself at this point because it's quite easy still. But I am planning once I finish this book and probably the next one, then I would like to go to proper classes because it gets more difficult, you know, like we were talking already about probably B1 level, etc.
Yeah, and it's
really
easier
needs
to be somewhere where you can actually meet real people, talk to them, and
Yes.
and it keeps you more motivated. I feel like in my case, it's much more motivating to go somewhere and be like, okay, I'm here now. I have paid for this.
Yeah.
I am motivated to stay here instead of like being at home and be like, well, there is Netflix also, so like why would I do this now?
And that's the biggest thing I'm struggling with. Like, I feel like reading, it's quite easy for me nowadays. I understand a lot of stories on Instagram and videos on TikTok, etc. But when people ask me something in Finnish, I'm just like,
Yeah.
and I have it in my head, but I'm so unable to like just speak it out.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. But hey, I'm there. So
You're getting there.
yeah,
Good.
we get in there. So you went to this school, and then when happens X Factor?
Last year of high school, it was 2018, and me going into another singing competition, I don't think I ever went in there with the intention of like, oh, I'm gonna win this. I don't think I ever wanted to win it. You know, I don't think that, I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I don't think that winning a TV singing competition is the best decision for you or the best solution for you when you get into that. I think it's great to be there as long as you can for the exposure that you get. I wanted to be on TV again as a grown up. Like, I was 18 at the time, but the previous ones were like I was a child.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go on TV and say, hi, Finland, again, I'm back, hi. I speak better Finnish now, hello, good to be back. And I wanted to find connections from that TV show to meet people with whom I could start writing my own music finally. And this happened for me.
Okay.
Like, I met wonderful people. We started writing music together. Then our ways split. I met other people. But this is like the X Factor started my songwriting journey, which was the most important part for me at that point.
That's so beautiful. So do you have music that is yours, like written and sing and
Plenty. It's just none of it is out yet. I have probably over 20 recorded songs right now.
so you could have basically a full album.
2 maybe even. Yeah, that is I guess we're gonna go in there in the conversation later on, but it's tricky with managing to put out the music, and who are you putting it out with? Is it with a label? Are you independent? Who's listening to it? Who's funding it? A lot of pressure on that. So still not any music out, but a lot of music written.
Okay. So is it challenging to get into the music industry in Finland?
Oh, it's brutal. It's not just in Finland. It's a very raw industry anywhere. You have to be talented, of course, but I feel like that's just like 10% of it all. There are so many other factors that matter. So it is quite hard to meet a person within the industry who is in charge, who has power, and who believes in you as much as you believe in yourself. And it's very demotivating at times, because it feels like, oh, nobody's seeing what I see, nobody believes in me the way I believe in me, nobody's seeing my talent, nobody's seeing my business mind. But then again, it's what I chose. So yeah, it's been, I don't know, it's been fucked up lately, to be honest, because I've always thought that I'm gonna make it big in this industry because I have what it takes and because I'm not the type of person who will give up. And I've always been like, this is why so many people give up, because it's like really hard, and this is how the best kind of like are being selected, and like
Yeah.
what's left they make it. And I've always thought that I'm gonna be one of these people, because I'm there's no way on earth I'm giving up on this thing. And
That's so beautiful. You're
but then
so resilient.
but then lately I had a different experience with that, and it was really scary because
You want to explain us?
yeah, uh, I applied for representing Finland at Eurovision for the second year in a row. Last year my song got into top 20. It just
Wow.
didn't make the final cut for the TV selection.
Congrats, anyways.
Thank you. It was amazing, yes. And then this year I did it again. And I was like, we have it, we got this. Like last year they liked me so much, and they told me that they would be happy if I came back. And and I wrote new songs, and the songs were written with Eurovision geniuses from Europe. And I was like, it's there, I can feel it, it's happening now. And then we applied with the songs, we submitted the songs, and then few weeks later I get an automatic response, like an automatic email that I didn't make it, like no explanation, no anything. And after the hype of like, we want you back, come back, and
Yeah.
and me like being like, yes, now we're doing this, now Eurovision is coming, like this is it, this is the next step in my career, then it just like flops, and then it's like gone in 1 second. And for the first time in my life I had the thought like, should I be doing this? Like, is this what I was made to do? Like, if nobody's seeing it as I see it, then what's the purpose? What's the reason? Like if people from the industry don't trust in me, don't trust in my music, don't trust in my potential, and if I'm not getting to the places where I want to get, then why would I be doing it? And it was a really scary moment, because as I said, I always thought that I could never give up on this. And then all of a sudden I have this feeling of like, doesn't matter, like nobody cares anyway, which of course is not the case. But when you're in a dark place like this, you
Yes,
just
it's so
you
difficult.
forget your successes,
Yeah.
you forget everything you've accomplished on
Yeah.
the way to being at this point right now and being rejected.
Yeah.
And then you just see the plain rejection.
Yes, absolutely.
And for a couple of weeks I was like doubting myself, thinking, well, and then again, if I'm not doing music, then what the hell am I gonna do? Like there is nothing. I'm good at a lot of things, but there is nothing that brings me as much joy and fulfillment and happiness as music and being on stage. And so then again, this is gonna get really deep now, but I guess this is what we're here for today. Then 1 week ago probably, I got out of work, and then I went into my car, and just before I like started driving, I opened my phone and I opened Facebook, and then I see that a classmate of mine from first to fourth grade in Bulgaria has passed away.
I'm sorry.
And I know both her parents. I actually just met them this summer, like both in like separate situations, but it was so nice to catch up and be like,
Yeah.
hey, how are you? And how is your daughter? Svetomira was her name. And I was like, how is Svetomira doing? And then I just like open Facebook, and then I see that her mom posted that she died in a car crash. Back to music, I was like, you can be gone any second and it wouldn't matter. Like, if, God forbid, if I'm not here tomorrow, it wouldn't even matter, like, did I make it to Eurovision or how many times I got rejected. What would matter is that I didn't use my time to share myself with the world the best way I know and put out my music and be there. And I was like, if I ever decide to quit music, which would also be okay, because as we talked, you have to know where your boundaries are.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be just because somebody, another human being, evaluated me in a certain way and thought that this is not the right person for this. Like if I ever stop making music, it should be because I don't feel like doing it anymore. But before that, the best thing I can be, I guess, is just be fucking thankful for being alive, for being able to create art, and for having the opportunity to share it with the world.
Wow.
So it's been a really complicated thought process in my head lately, and I'm so sorry that this tragedy was the thing that kind of like brought me back to being like, wake up, this is not it. Like you should just be doing things here and now, and you should be doing them. Also, another thing is I feel like, because being in the music industry, of course you have to have a very good business mind, and you have to think of the business side as well. I think that lately I got lost in it. I think that I was thinking too much about it. Where is this song gonna go? Is it gonna hit the charts? Is it gonna sell? Who is it gonna reach? What the hell? Did I start making music because I wanted to reach charts? Yeah, part of it was because of it.
Of course.
But did I
Where's that
start
fun?
singing because of that? No, I started singing, and I've been on stage for so many years, and I've been writing music and crying my heart out at the studio because this is my gift from something that gave it to me from, from above or something. So yeah, it's been
That's so beautiful. Like I'm speechless, honestly. It was super nice. Thank you for sharing this story with us.
thank you for listening.
So, would you like to sing us something?
To sing you something. Oh my god. So I've been lately listening to The Winner Takes It All by ABBA. It's just like I have kind of like found this song again. Like I've always known it's out there, but like lately I've been like, oh, this is so brilliant. So I can maybe sing the chorus for you.
Yes, please.
Okay, here we go. The winner takes it all, the loser standing small beside the victory, that's her destiny, and so on.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you, Victorio. That was so nice, so nice.
Thank you very much.
Of course. So, how did you start on social media? Because like it's so unrelated to the singing
It
and
is, yeah.
stages, and how did that happen?
It is so. I was at a meeting with a record label in Bulgaria,
Okay.
and then, we did not end up signing because I think we were really, really like on different paths at the time. But the CEO of the record label was like, "Why aren't you on TikTok?" And like she was like very arrogant in a way, but also like cool. Like
Yeah.
she's this like really cool lady, and she was like, she just like pushed her phone to me, and she was like, "Look at this! Like I have more followers than you on Instagram. Like, and why aren't you on TikTok? Everyone is on TikTok." And I was like, "Yeah, hell no! Like I'm never gonna do this." I thought that TikTok is this like very extremely cringe platform where you can only do like these like cringy TikTok choreographies, and I was like,
you with 56,000 followers on TikTok.
2 years later, cut to that. And I was like, no way, I'm not doing that. I don't like that. And I left the meeting even more frustrated. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be doing stupid choreography videos in order to sell my music. Like, this is not what it's about. Mm-hmm. And then like few days later, I met with a friend of mine who is also like an artist in Bulgaria, and she had already started doing TikTok at the time. And we talked about it, and I was like, this like the CEO of the record label told me this and that, and oh my god, this person. And she was like, she's right. Like
she's honest.
You should be doing TikTok. And I was like, but the dancing, and then she was like, oh, shut up, it's not just the dancing. And then she was like, she opened her TikTok for me, and then she was like, you just need to like kind of like teach your TikTok. You need to teach the algorithm, and you can do so many things. And I was like,
Yep.
okay, I can try that. So when I started doing it, it was just like so random videos. Like I still haven't deleted my first videos because I think it's cute to keep them there, even though they're like so shitty and filmed with an Android phone.
Same.
But then at one point I did this video. There was this woman telling you, stitch this video and tell me all about the languages you speak in those languages. And then I stitched it, and then I spoke in all the languages I speak, and then it just like it just blew up, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Like at some point I remember each refreshing like in like 2-3 seconds was like 1,000 new views, 1,000 new views, like comments and comments and comments, and then it got like, I think it currently has over 100,000 likes and like 1,000 comments. And this is how my platform actually started growing. Like doing these language videos and people not trusting me, like like there's no way you're not Finnish, you're so fluent in Finnish, like we couldn't tell the difference.
It's true.
And I remember in one video I had to show my Bulgarian passport, and people were like, but then you probably also have a Finnish passport, so you're just like lying to us, you're doing this for clout and stuff like this. And then I tried to kind of like put in the singing in between, and then I got one video with my singing. Imagine my only very viral video of me singing with 2.1 million views is me singing Pussy Tight, Pussy Clean, Pussy Fresh. What is this world? Like, what is TikTok? You know,
That's how TikTok
I
works.
would be out there in the studio writing passionate songs about broken hearts and toxic relationships and my dad and everything, and then you just have to go like pussy tight, pussy clean, pussy fresh, and that's like, there you have it, 2 million views, and then it's on a world tour, the video. So yeah, and then I did some accent videos, like faking different accents in English and everything like that, and that's what it's about pretty much now. Yeah.
Have you ever been recognized on the street?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's been happening so much recently, and
How was the first experience?
it's always been weird because for example, when I've been on TV shows, if somebody stops me on the street and be like, hey, I've seen you on the show, it never caught me off guard. I was like, well, I am on primetime television, of course people are gonna recognize me and stop me and ask for pictures and everything. But when somebody does it because of TikTok nowadays, I'm like, oh,
What?
yeah. And it's just so weird because I am literally filming videos in my bedroom. Some of them really questionable in my opinion.
Yes.
Like sometimes.
Which are the most viral ones?
Exactly, and I'm like, okay, you want this stupid humor? I'm gonna give it to you, but just know I don't find it very funny. But and you know this thing, so like.
Absolutely.
Somebody stops you on the street and they're like, I like your TikTok so much, and I'm like, thank you.
Speaking about followers and people, I know that you asked a question to your followers, just like for people to send you some questions. So can we see them? Would you like me to?
Yeah, sure. Let's
check
do
on
it.
them? Okay, so first one, what is your guilty TV show, or like I guess guilty pleasure TV show?
The Bachelor, definitely.
Okay.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started. The Bachelor.
Please go on.
They just had the first season of The Bachelor on Bulgarian TV last year, and I was just like curious to see it, and just as it aired, I wasn't able to watch it as it aired, so I had to watch it like later, and then like I went on like social media and there were like so many comments about, this is so dumb, this is so degrading, like if you're watching this then you're not intelligent enough, you know, people like this.
Yeah.
And you know, there were comments about the girls that they had chosen, like, is this what you were able to find? Like, they don't have a degree, they're stupid, they're just like,
Okay,
so
hold on. Can you explain what is The Bachelor for someone who hasn't watched
so The
it?
Bachelor is this very, very cringy, I recommend you to watch that show still. It's this show where there is a single man who is looking for the love of his life, and so there is this man who is the Bachelor, and they're like 20-ish girls that like go in that villa, and then they're just like trying to impress him.
Okay.
And there's like different challenges, and they go on dates, and of course it's such a reality TV show. Like, they're having dinner on camera, they're talking personal things on camera, it's like, it can be fake even at some moments. But yeah, so I was just like, I was curious to see, okay, let's see if it's that bad as they say. And I loved every second of it. And then like later on, I would sit like every night when it was coming on the TV, I would sit on time and wait for it to come. And I would just like watch it and be like, I love the drama so much. This is so good. And because it's also like ridiculous when they go on these like dates on camera and they try to hug or something. It's super cringe, obviously. But I love it so much. And then I told my sister and her boyfriend, you should watch this. And they were like, yeah, no thanks. And then I was like, let's watch one episode together. And then we watched it and they were like, We love it. Let's do more. So The Bachelor is definitely my guilty pleasure, my guilty pleasure TV show. Yes.
That's amazing. I kinda relate. Probably it's not The Bachelor, but it's Temptation Island Spain.
Oh my God, yes.
Temptation Island Spain is so good. It's just like so dramatic and like drama and conflict, the gas of my life. I
Yeah.
swear, like
I live on that.
I love it so much. And then of course, I'm not gonna be this kind of people like, oh no, TV show, reality shows. No, I fucking find pleasure on it.
Yeah.
I am so happy. At the same time, it gives me trust issues because everyone is cheating on everyone.
Yep.
But hey, I find it so funny. I'm like, oh my god, people is just completely cuckoo.
And yeah, and to think like, I've always wanted to get into one of these people's like brains and be like, what made you go to this show?
What is going on inside your head?
Like,
Literally.
I really would like to know, and I find it like fascinating. I'm like, you wanted to do Big Brother? Please explain to me. Like, I'm really,
Why?
and I'm not judging, but I'm like really curious to know. Or like this, like Temptation Island. Hey, do you want to go and see if our relationship will last? Like some hot people in there. Let's do it. Or like, I'm going to this TV show and I'm going to win this man, and I've only seen him on pictures and on TV, but he's the love of my life.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it definitely is. I've seen that now the new edition of Temptation Island Finland is gonna start. I am not watching it because they don't
Yeah,
have the
no.
subtitles in English, and I feel like it's not gonna be as good.
No, it's not as flamboyant as
Yeah.
as it would be in Spain, for example.
Yeah. But I've seen like a friend of mine watches it, and she has shown me the couples, and like I think two of the couples are already famous or have been in another TV show. So I'm just like,
Possibly.
okay, so that's why, you know, like
Yeah.
you like TV, but still, it's so
Yeah.
funny. I find it so amazing. So what is, okay, changing a bit of topic, what is your creative process, I guess, in creating music?
Yeah, well,
How did you get inspired?
the inspiration is always like different. It depends on like what is the vibe. So usually, in my case, I don't write my music just on my own. I would usually go to a studio session, and then you have a producer, you have another songwriter, or even more songwriters, and then we just like close ourselves in the studio, and then we're like, okay, what are we doing here today? And it's like going to therapy, because usually like you don't necessarily know the people that you are about to write with. So you sit down, and in order to have a real story, have a really good song, you have to let them in on what's going on in your mind, and what made you want to write about the stuff that you're going to write about. So you just like kind of like sit down, you tell them the whole story, you go into, at least that's what I do, I go into details. They're writing down, they're asking me questions that will help them. And so then we then start writing together. Like somebody comes up with a melody, another one is like, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna tweak it a bit, I'm gonna change it a little bit.
Nice.
And then lyrics comes in, somebody has a better word suggestion, and it's a very it's teamwork in my case, and it works really, really good for me, because I'm really inspired by the people I'm working with. I don't
Nice.
think I'm as easily inspired if I'm on my own at home sitting at the piano. I've tried it, sometimes it has worked, but it's not my formula. In my case, it's like going to the studio, sitting with these people, being inspired by how tremendously talented they are and how good they are at what they're doing and passionate about it, and being like, okay, and let's do this now, because it's special. Yeah.
What has been the experience that has made you write the most songs about it? Or like
Love, honestly, love, I guess, like that's what everyone is writing the most about. I have a whole EP written about my broken heart. I have only one song out of all the songs that I've written, only one song about happy love.
Okay.
Because it's so much harder to write about happy feelings. Like it's much easier to be down and being like, oh
Yes.
my god, let's write about this sad topic. But
I feel-
also
yeah.
but also like I wrote a song about my relationship with my dad actually recently. And it was really weird, because it was my first time writing about something that is not related to love in terms of like an intimate partnership, but something else. So this was really exciting and therapeutic in a way to do. So yeah, inspiration just comes from my personal battles and experiences.
How is your relationship with your dad at the moment?
I think it's good right now, but it's been a really on and off thing throughout the years. So of course there is some amount of trauma in the background and things that he has done wrong, things that I have probably done wrong as an adult person at the moment. And yeah, but it was fun is not the right word. It was very scary and special to write about it.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
What is the favorite song that you have written?
I think it's the one about my dad, actually.
Oh,
I think it's the most personal one, because I got goosebumps when I listened to the demo, and that's a very special feeling when you get goosebumps of your own thing, you
Absolutely.
know. And there, you know, usually when you're in the studio session, you're just very hyped about the song because, you know, in the studio, you're just creating it. There are like these amazing speakers and it sounds amazing. But then you also have moments in the studio where you're like, I think we might be making history right now doing this song, writing this song. And I had this feeling with the song that we wrote about my dad, that I think this is, when this song comes out, I think it has the chances to stand the test of time and become a song that will stay there forever.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Honestly.
How humble of me.
Yeah. I mean, beautiful, but
I wrote a classic. Can't wait for you to hear it.
Do you have any plans to drop it?
Well, it was actually one of the Eurovision songs, but since that is not happening right now, I'm just gonna see when it's gonna be the best time to put it out.
Release it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for sure, I want to put it out there. I think it's a life-changing song.
Well, can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I can.
You're gonna make me
I'm
cry
actually gonna
like a
play
bitch.
it once we stop recording. I'm actually gonna play the song to Laura, and then you all can just wait
Yes.
until it comes out.
Privilege.
Yes.
I love my privilege. So you said something about a broken heart.
Yeah.
How is it? You're
Healed. It's okay now. Nobody has access to it. my dogs have access to it in my family, but nobody in a romantic way. I got my heart broken like a year ago quite badly, and it was a 1 year process of like getting back on track, but it's life and shit happens, and it's okay now, and it's a lot of lessons learned. It's a lot of lessons that I still haven't learned probably from it, but it's gonna come with time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has, like, you have used it as inspiration
Oh
for
yes,
songs.
oh yes. I
we
wrote.
love a broken heart song because it's a guilt pleasure.
I wrote so many songs about it. Like I went to a songwriting camp in northern Sweden in May this year, and before I went there, I hadn't written anything about this relationship because I knew I wanted to get into a studio, and I left a lot of things in me unprocessed for the time when I'm gonna start writing about it. So it was a very masochistic thing to do in a way, because I went to the studio and then I started processing a lot of the things. So I was just like healing in the process. But I was there for 4 days, and we wrote 6 songs in these 4 days.
Wow, it's a lot.
So it was a lot, and it was one of the, because I'm a person who believes that things happen for a reason, and we don't get to know that reason right away. Usually it comes at some point. And I remember after listening to one of the songs, it was the last day in Sweden. It was 1:30 a.m. and you know, northern Sweden, there were still like this, you could see the sunset, but it was a bit dark, but you could still see the sunset happening. And we listened to the song in the studio, and then I remember I didn't even start crying. My tears just started like dripping down my face, and it was happy tears, and it was like I was so thankful at that moment, and I was like, this is it. Like, this is why I was supposed to go through this, in order to experience this moment right here, to write this song and to pour my soul into something this meaningful and beautiful. Nice. So yeah, definitely you're still dumb for breaking my heart, but I wrote good music about you.
Yeah, never thank anyone who has hurt you. It's
Yeah.
not necessary.
No,
Like, yes,
let's
lessons
not give them
learned.
the credit.
Exactly. It's not on you. It's on me. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely. So your heart is locked. So you're not dating anyone at the moment.
No. And it's also weird because I'm a very, very romantic person. I'm a Cancer. I love my home, and I love this whole idea of like being in a relationship, cooking with someone, getting a dog together, doing this and that and everything. Like, let's get fucking married if we can. Let's do it today. You know, I am this person. But for the first time in my life, I feel so good about being, for the first time in my life, like, for fuck's sake, I'm just 23 and I sound like I've been doing this for so long. But it feels really good to be single at the moment and just vibe around and explore and meet new people and be with myself and
Yes.
talking to myself and it's wonderful.
I absolutely understand, and I think you are doing an amazing job, honestly, because the most
With being at my whole face, you mean?
yes. Yes, of course. Well, we love a whole face.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
do. Yeah, we do.
We do, especially when I get all the juice, you know?
Yes.
But we love a whole face. But not only that, it's also because you are learning how to be happy by yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's so important in order to be able to have a healthy
It's
relationship
key.
afterwards.
It's the first thing you need to
I
be able to
swear.
do. Yeah.
Because like I also had, of course, my whole face when I was single. It was my first year here in Finland, and it was so good. It helped me so much to process my traumas from previous relationships and to grow as a person, as a human.
Right.
And then when I met my boyfriend, now we have a super healthy, beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
And I would have never been able to have the relationship I have if I hadn't have been alone all this time.
Yeah.
You know, and learning to be happy by myself.
Yeah,
So I
hear
think
you.
it's amazing that you are going through that, and it's always when you least want it. Just so you know, because I was like, hot girl summer, and now
And then this arrogant
Here we
guy
are.
shows up and makes you fall in love with him.
and then this amazing, beautiful golden retriever guy just appears in my life. Oh, there's him.
Where are these golden retrievers? Obviously, like, just, yeah. I know it happens when you less want it, and I know that it kind of like it doesn't ask you, or that it just like it doesn't even knock on the door. It's just like, hey, I'm here. Hello,
Yeah.
I'm here
And
now.
it's so scary.
But
It is
I'm
so
ready for
scary.
it whenever it comes. But
Yeah.
right now I'm just like good like this.
I think you have to be also like mentally ready, even if you think you are not ready. So subconsciously you are.
Yeah.
You know, because when it happens, it just naturally flows. That's another thing, because I feel like nowadays you are seeing in relationships so many mixed signals. And you are like starting to know someone, and then it's like this kind of play, like, oh yes, I like you, but I don't. That's not the one. That's not the place to be. As like that's something I always tell my friends. If you have doubts, it's a no, because if you like someone and the other person likes you, you know that
But
they're gonna show you.
But I also feel like it's so. Our generation is making it much more complicated than it should be.
Absolutely.
So everything with this, like, and of course it's a lot of anxiety in the background, a lot of trust issues that we have, being as exposed as we are to everything. And I feel like
Dating apps.
dating apps,
Absolutely.
I feel like we're such a consumer generation that we're afraid of settling down and being like, I'm good with this person
Yeah.
now, because we always go like, there must be something better for me out there, and we need, like, our brains work in a way where we need like new provocation all the time, and this
Yeah.
is what makes it so hard to stay committed in a
Yeah.
relationship. And sometimes, like, it's so dumb, like, you like someone but then you go like, yeah, but let's not go too fast into that. And to me, sometimes this could be a mood killer. Not always. Sometimes I'm also the guy who is a bit too, not pushy, that's the wrong word, but like falling faster.
Yeah.
And I understand that
Intense.
intense. And I understand that people are not all people are like that, and I give them space. I understand that. But I also feel like our generation is so fucking scared of just like letting go
Yeah.
and being there at the moment with that person, enjoying their company, falling in love with them.
Yes.
And also I think that our generation is afraid of making compromises. And I'm not saying that you should, but you should.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, of course, you need to know what are the boundaries for your compromises, but
Yes, exactly.
you
But
need
you
to
also need
adapt.
to face the fact that there
Yes.
is no such thing as a perfect relationship. You need to know that you adapt to that person
Yes.
and you grow together.
Yeah.
That's how it goes in my head.
Yeah, and definitely have uncomfortable conversations and communicate a lot. That's something that I
Very that. Yeah.
like. Really, the best relationship I ever had in my life is the one that I have now, because it's the one where I can talk about everything.
Yeah.
Like anything that's bothering me, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk like adults about it, and we're gonna see how we can make the other feel comfortable and talk about it. Whereas with other people in the past, we'll be just like discussing or like even making you feel gaslighted on like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
You know, this kind of feeling. So
Oh yes, been there, done that.
so as you know, we are approaching the last part of the program, and you know what it's coming. This is something I ask all my guests, which is you need to explain us a juicy secret, and I'm gonna be valuing how juicy it is.
You're gonna be grading the
Yes,
juiciness. Oh my
yes.
god.
On the video, we're gonna have a juicy line here, and we're gonna just like say,
Oh
like,
shit,
how
let me
juicy
sit the
it
right
is.
way for this thing. We don't even see, it's time to spill the juice and we don't even have any juice left. Anyway, I think that this is probably like really my juiciest secret, if I can call it a secret, because like only just like my friends, a few friends and like my family knows about this. So in 2018, I must have been 19 at the time. I really fell for someone. So
Okay.
like we met in Finland, but they lived in a different country. So they lived in the UK back then. So like we met in Finland. We had some like time together. It was wonderful. Then they went back to the UK, and then we like started talking every day through Skype. Can you imagine Skype was still a thing back then? A few years ago it was still a thing. So like we started having like these long conversations on Skype. Like we would talk for like 3 hours and then blah blah blah, stuff like this. And then there were talks about me going to visit, and I was like, oh well, I don't know about this. Like I still don't feel confident enough in this. Like I'm not sure if I want this relationship. I'm not sure if I want you. I don't want to talk about this to friends or family either, because they would be like, it's not a person you know that well, so you can't just go there.
Yeah.
And so instead, my 19-year-old brain at the time decided that the best decision is to just leave the country and go to the UK without telling anyone. Like not a single soul except the person that I was going to visit knew that I was going to the UK.
That's such the beginning of a fucking like murder film.
Yes, or a very happy love story in our case, which was wonderful. Like it
Sorry,
was.
I watched too much true
Yeah.
crime.
But it was a real thing, and also like not telling my parents, for example, not telling my mom. Like she had always taught me that to be completely honest with her. Like being a single parent, she built this very very close relationship with me and my sister, and we've been like more friends rather than a parent and child. But still, like I didn't feel like talking about this with her back then, so I just went there and I felt so bad, so guilty. I knew that my mom was gonna know some way, and it was scary because one of the days she called me and then she was like, we can talk about stuff, right?
She knew.
And I was like, shit, wow, what a mom, like a real mom. She knows. And I was like, shit, panicking over it. And then I had, because you're leaving the country without telling anyone, and there's so many things that can go wrong on that journey. Like your plane can crash, somebody can, a lot of bad things can happen.
Yes.
So I was like, if something happens, then it probably would be fair if I like left a letter at home. So I like, it was so dramatic.
You did not.
I wrote a letter, and it was,
You did not.
it was not a goodbye letter, but I was just, in a way, yeah, because why would I have a letter if, yeah, in a way it was like a goodbye letter. If you're reading this, I'm probably dead, in a way. So I was like, I'm here and here, and I'm in love, and I'll be back soon. Or if you're reading this, probably I'm not back or anything. It was something like this.
You kidding me?
Very. Remember when we talked about like living off drama and there you have it in a nutshell. So I'm flying back from London to Helsinki, and the plane's Wi-Fi is not working. So this is when I'm like 3 hours, you can't reach me. Like my phone is off, there's no internet. My mom starts calling me like crazy at the time, and I had told her that I was at a party. Honestly, I am ashamed of lying this much. I had my very good reasons back then for that. So I was like, I was at a party, and she knew that I was at a party with a friend, so she called a friend. But the friend doesn't know where am I, because I've left the country and I haven't told her either. So she's like, I don't know, we are not at a party. And so I land, I turn on my phone, I have like something like 28 and a half missed calls from my mom.
That's so scary.
You know, that is scarier than everything else you could face on this planet in your life. So I'm like, fuck, we're fucked. So I just like, I call my mom from the airport, and then she is like, where the fuck are you? And then I didn't want to explain to her over the phone, so I ended up lying more, and I was like, I went to work, and that I took this night shift, and I knew that you didn't want me to take the night shifts, so
oh my god.
And then she was like so shocked and disappointed that, you know, that she was like, probably I haven't done my job as a parent properly if you felt the need to lie to me like this. So then I went to Turku, and then I explained everything, and it was all good. But yeah, I left the country without telling anyone for
leaving a note.
4 days, leaving a note in case I don't make it back to Finland. I lied more when I was getting exposed, and then, but truth always wins. So then we just talked it through, and everything was okay. And I'm probably like, one day when I become like this very big artist, and then somebody is gonna be like, let's make a movie about this person, like I'm going to insist on having this scene in the movie, like about my life. So is that a 10?
I mean, it's pretty close. Oh my god. Last question. Where the fuck did you leave the note?
At my place in Helsinki, because I was like, well, if the plane crashes or something, they're gonna, and like, I'm gonna go missing, so they're gonna investigate my place.
Oh my god.
So it was on my...
Motherfucker had the whole thing planned.
Yeah. It was planned. It was like, thank you, it was nice knowing you, goodbye. I had the best time in Oxford. I'm currently in Oxford. It's cool. So the note was on the table. So yeah, and then when I came back, I took that note and I read it to my mom, because I was like, it's gonna be too complicated to find words again about it. So I was just like, I wrote this letter, I can read it to you, you don't have to read it by yourself. So I just sat down with the letter, and I read it out loud, and that was it.
Okay, I have to say, it's a solid, pretty high one.
I
just
know.
the whole no thing, you just got me.
Super dramatic, like...
I'm gonna give you a 9.
A 9, thank you very much. We got a 9.
We got a 9.
Boom, 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 boom. It feels a bit embarrassing to share this, because I like, when you say it out loud in your head, it's just like, it's a very cool story, but then when you say it out loud, you're just like, this is so embarrassing. But
this is how it all is.
But it happened, and it was very cool. So yeah, a 9. There we go.
Yes. So thank you so much for being here today. It's been super, super fun to have you, and I hope you had fun too.
I had a lot of fun, and you told me it was going to be an honest talk, and it was a very honest talk, and I feel like we talked about a lot of important things. There are many layers, and you probably haven't done any interviews before, but this is one of the best interviews that I've ever had. Because I think you were so good in terms of asking questions, pushing buttons, leaving enough space for your guests to talk their shit.
Thank you.
So you did an amazing job, and I'm really glad we did this.
I'm so happy you're saying
Give
this.
me a hug.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here today and listening this episode of All the Juice podcast. It is available in all podcast platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and it will mean the world to me if you would subscribe, like, and share All the Juice with your loved ones. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll see each other again in 2 weeks.